Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Sims 4 speed build. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna post the high school first or if I'm gonna post like one of the other many builds I've been building since I've been gone. But yeah, here's this high school that I've been wanting to do. See, I wasn't even supposed to make this high school. Wait, actually, let me explain myself before I really get into this. So, as you know, if you saw on my update list, my community tab, that's what it's called. If you saw on my community tab, I said before that my voice isn't that well. And I think I said it before in my London street, British street, high street thing that I did. So my voice is better. As you can tell, I can do voiceovers, but the root of the issue has not been resolved. I actually need to go back to the doctors and get that resolved, because it's like, there are still certain things I, on average, should be able to do that I'm not able to do, such as the whole swallowing situation. I said before that you need to, that this voiceover is going to be as good as I can make it to be. But if there's little pauses, it's because I'm just trying to swallow, because I can't, it's a bit of a struggle at the moment. And yes, it has been almost a month of this issue. We have come to the realization that it was not because of my singing, because it would not cause this issue if it was because of my singing. But yeah, it's just what it is. We're gonna go to the doctors, hopefully get it better. But since I am able to speak now, and I have been practicing and I have been speaking, I will be speaking again in my videos. I don't know how. Okay, every single person that does speed builds that doesn't do voiceovers, because I didn't used to do them, but that's when I used to do just really, really, really long music, and that was working out fine. But I think ever since I started speaking to you guys, it's a bit of a difficulty for me to. It's a bit of a difficulty for me to just put the music in the background. I feel like it's always so incredibly repetitive with me. I think that's why I started doing lofts and one-bedroom apartments, lofts and one-bedroom apartments, because they were shorter builds, so hopefully I wouldn't have to utilize so many songs in order to fill up the gap. But now that I am so used to talking, it was a bit of a struggle to do it. But yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. And before I really get into the gist of doing this build, let me tell you something silly I did. I made this so proud. By the way, I'm so proud of this. I'm so proud of this. And I'm so happy with how I did it. I honestly shocked how well it turned out. But one thing that was very silly of me is that it took me 2 times to create the cinematic intro. The first time, everything was going on okay-ish. There wasn't enough students. Some of them weren't wearing what they were supposed to be wearing. And I think maybe it was a sign that I didn't correctly build it the first time, that I wasn't able to do the cinematic intro, because the cinematic intro wasn't going as good as I would have wanted it to. Mainly because there wasn't that many students on the lot. They weren't wearing the uniforms that I had signed them, and all of that. Only comes to this, literally the day ended, and I was just like, why aren't they going in the classrooms? Because one of my Sims even got a detention, and I was like, why aren't they going in the classrooms? Turns out, did not put stairs. You will not see me put stairs in the speed build. There will be no stairs put in the speed build. I did put stairs later on, as you can see, as you saw in the cinematic intro, there are stairs. But that just explains why I had so much fun making this. Because 1, I didn't have to use terrain. And 2, I didn't have to use stairs. And those are the 2 things that I hate the most when it comes to that. And it wasn't a residential. Because as much as I do residentials, they're not my favorite builds. I prefer community builds. I prefer making high schools, and I prefer making shopping malls and all of those kinds of things. But the problem is that they are so time consuming. So if I only ever did the builds I heavily want to upload maybe once every 3 weeks, because they are just so time consuming. And if you do it, and another reason why I like community builds so much is that it's the once in a while. So every single time I do them, I normally do them so fabulously that I just continuously enjoy doing them. But if I had to do them all the time, I'll just end up being so nitpicky with them, the same way I'm so nitpicky with my residential builds. Speaking of residential builds, I do have a residential build coming out for you guys, entirely base game. Haven't done that in a while, but I thought, you know what, let's just do a little bit of a base game build. But yeah, another thing that I've been doing since my whole period of being gone for the last 6 to 7 days is that I've also been just playing the game, like playing the game as intended. And yes, have I been still building, but I've been building unrestrictedly. So normally when I build obviously for a video, but I've always got this certain mindset when I build that don't use CC if it's a non-CC build, or only use a certain amount of CC because you do not want to be endlessly tagging your CC and all of that. But since I was just building in the way that I was feeling like, so I make so many apartments and I was just filling out some of the apartments, because normally when I'm making an apartment, I decorate one and leave the rest of the units for you guys to decide. But I decided to go back into my units and just decorate them. And I had so much fun because I was just doing it unrestricted. I wasn't thinking, I was literally using like one painting from one CC pack and then using like a pair of shoes from another CC pack. If you ever wanted to download that apartment that I decorated, just the unit itself rather than the entire thing, I think you might need to have like downloaded like 10 gigabytes of CC in order to have that small space that I decorated, just because I used one of everything. But besides that, it was honestly, it was so much fun, and I was catching up with my Sims because, I didn't say, but if for the people who may be new and then the people who may be returning, I have different save files. I will never make my baby save file public just because I've made that so horrendously and chaotically that it will be very, very difficult to have that go public, as well as the amount of CC I've used in order to create it. But I do, most of the times, the builds I make for my baby save file, I do make them so you can download them on the gallery, or you can download the tray files. Like, for example, this high school was made for my baby save file. So you can download like some of this, you can download most of the builds I have, just never like the entire save file, like the family, the history, the lore. But I do discuss the history and lore when I can remember it, or if I can talk through it. It's the same with my celebrity sci-fi, my celebrity save file, that would never be downloadable. But the Tundra one that I started, and many of you are probably thinking, she started it. She didn't finish it. She hasn't uploaded in a second. It's because I really wanted to be able to talk when I upload it, because I upload Tundra one every Wednesday. And I was like, I originally was thinking I could just put music, and I was like, no, because this is my save file that's going to one day be public. I really want to explain the lore behind every single build that I do for it. So I was just like, oh, okay, I'll just hold off on doing anything for that until I'm able to speak properly. So you will be getting a Tundra video quite soon. And yeah, so, but this is like, honestly, I was playing with my baby save file right throughout the entire time. And it was so cathartic because I haven't really touched her for a second. Like, I move things around a bit and then I kind of just leave. But I was playing with her and I was like, I haven't made so much lore. And I was generally getting upset. My Sims were dying, like the ones that have been there for a second. I was also generally getting like really emotional. I was like, you guys have done a lot. You guys have grown. You guys have been doing things. I'm so proud of you. Like, I was generally getting proud of my Sims. I was getting a bit delirious now I think about it, getting proud of my Sims. But I was just like, you guys are really doing a lot. And I got filled with all these story ideas. So I started doing all these story ideas. And there was just so many things that I could think of doing in that file. And it's just how I would describe how my baby save file is. I've talked about how it's like kind of comfort gameplay. It's kind of comfort, kind of not. It's got the comfort within it, but then it's also got a lot of crazy things that do occur. And it's just so fun, but it's predominantly made for comfort. And here's me using the Home Chef Hustle, things again. Also, so I said in my, I said before in my description that, can you tell I've downloaded Home Chef Hustle? I think you probably can, because I think I've borderline used it in almost every single build I've done so far. It is such a good pack. And you guys might think, oh, that's a weird thing to say. considering you did do a CC dupe of it, and I still stand on that CC dupe, except for the counter thing. Well, actually, the counters are really, I love it in the sense of, as a builder who has to make builds that is like downloadable by people who may be playing on console or doesn't like using CC, it's honestly such a great pack for that. Like, I really love it for that. But as someone who's just like maybe like an average gameplay user, like someone who just likes playing the game and is not too fussed about CC and all of that and is able to download CC, again, I still don't think it's entirely worth it in that regards, but it's still like, I still really had a lot of fun doing it. And yeah, it's just, I've really been loving the Home Chef Hustle one. And it's because we have that sale going on. And honestly, I'm debating. I'm thinking potentially maybe of getting the outdoor retreat and then getting, there was 2 more stuff packs that I'm missing. But yeah, I was thinking of getting the last 3 stuff packs that I'm missing. Actually, I really need to get Journey to Batu because for Tundra, I need Journey to Batu because there is a lot of sci-fi stuff within it, and the debug within Journey Batu is amazing. So I probably will need to download that quite soon. Was this still on sale? But yeah, with creating this entire high school, I've had it in mind for the longest time. I think if you can go back through some of my videos, I've been discussing about how much I want to build this type of high school. I've been wanting to build 2. I've been wanting a bit of British one, and I've been wanting to build this. But you know what I'm like when it comes to my British builds? Anything to do with my British builds is always so difficult for me to do because I have that real life experience with it. So it is always really hard to actually make it because I'm always thinking to myself that this isn't quite right. I've got too much real life experience with it. But with this build, I just had an imagination, and I've also had some reference photos, and I've also had some memory. So what really inspired me to create this is that I've always wanted to because there was originally a high school here, but I completely got rid of the one that I created for OASIS. I completely got rid of it because as nice as it was just too complicated. And I think the thing is about high schools that I probably will do for the British one, but just because the British one is going to be a 64 by 64, but I didn't quite do for this one, and I'm very happy I didn't quite do for this one, is because I utilize this world quite a bit now, and it's the type of high school that I'll consistently play with, and because of that, you don't want your Sims to take absolutely ages to go around the high school. I still want the feeling of the high school being big, and I do want them to like go up the stairs and stuff like that. I don't want to keep it all in like one section and then have other things. I do want them to utilize as many of the rooms as possible. But in order to do that, I do have to just like reduce certain things. Like I have done a high school before on this channel. I don't know if it's going to be available to download because I use so much CC in that as well. And yeah, I used a lot of CC in creating that. So I don't know. If you look at it now, I don't think it'll be available to download within like maybe the next 3 months. But it is the high school I built for my celebrity Sims, and it is a very, very nice high school. But it's so convoluted, and there are so many places to go, and there are so many like classes and everything like that. And it's just, it takes a while for the Sims to go about it. So I just decided not to. I was just like, okay, wait, hold on. Now I'm looking at it. Was my head teacher able to access her office? I feel like she should have been. Because it looks like, if you look at the screen right now, in case you're not looking at the screen, if you look at the screen right now, where that counter ends, it looks like a Sim should be able to go through it. Potentially. Maybe not. Because she never really entered her office. She was just kind of staring at the TV screens, which is an annoyance because normally schools have TV screens everywhere, but they just love staring at them and just not doing the job. No, she did actually have time to go to my Sim and give her attention. That wasn't fun. But yeah, I forgot what I was talking about. I was talking about how a lot of my high schools have always been just so convoluted. I've made so many high schools within The Sims, not all on my channel, but I love making high schools. And all of them have been just entirely too convoluted, and it's been just like a mess of Sims trying to get everywhere, and then the class finishes before they actually reach the room because this school is just so big. So I was really trying to make it have a big feel, but a very concise kind of way. So originally, when you saw at the very, very glitchy opening of this video, there was, which was really annoying because I was like, I really enjoyed this build. Why is it so glitchy? But that's okay. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, I remember that. When I was originally making the main block, I'll call it like the main block, I was making it in mind that there are probably going to be like 5 classrooms max. Like normally the classrooms I would add, there will be a gardening class. Like I'm really big on agriculture. There would be obviously the same, like I did like a dance-ish class, theater-ish class. There will also normally be a homeroom/cook room class, so where you can go and do like cooking and stuff like that. There'll normally be like studying areas, and there are quite a bit of studying areas. That's like outdoor studying areas and stuff like that. But there'll normally be like a specific studying area. It's the inner British student in me calling out for a sixth form area, even though the country that I base this off of, I don't even believe they have sixth forms, but it's that kind of aspect that is within me that wants to do that. But yeah, it's I wanted to do all of that, but then I really thought to myself, and I was like, no, that wouldn't be viable. I need to have this be functional and it be quite good. And what I don't think that was correct grammar, was it? No, I don't think it was. But so instead, and yeah, normally I'll do like a separate maths room, history room, English room, and I was just like, no, we're just gonna have one particular room that could be for maths, English, or history, and then we're gonna have one particular room that's gonna be for science, and then we're gonna have an art room, a dance room, and an ICT/IT room. That's what I had in mind. Also, we're on to now doing, where did I do that in such a weird order? But yeah, we're on to now, we're doing the gymnasium. These chairs I am stacking, which you just have to control 9 them because you actually can't stack them. It's because I can imagine that this gymnasium, this hall, which also is like where the theater space is, I imagine that during exam period, this would be where you would do the exams. So I'm not sure how it works in other schools, but I know that the gymnasium and the halls, they all get turned into exam rooms. And yeah, that's all these exams that these students say they practice for before. This is where I imagine that they would actually do them. So I really love stacking chairs like that. I think I also did it in my other high school build, which was a 2-parter because it was that big yet again. But this time it's a 1-parter and it's almost like shorter than some of my other videos. But yeah, I really loved using this art piece on the wall. It really gave me the vibes because as much as I love doing a lot of nude builds and making very beige tone types of builds, I was like, a school is not beige. A school has like a predominantly bright color. And I kind of did a borderline beige tone for the previous school I did on my channel where it was for the celebrity high school. And I feel like as much as I loved it, it didn't give the feeling of it being a high school just because it was just too neutral. I was trying to do my comfort space, and this is still very well in my comfort space, but there are certain elements that I've added in order to make it feel like it's an actual high school and that it's beige in areas, but there is also a predominant color that pulls through the entire thing. And the predominant color that pulls through the entire thing, I think you guys have noticed, is blue. So with Oasis Springs High School, the lore behind it is that within my save file, of course, is that everyone who's watched for a long time knows that my BBC file is basically a lot of inspirations of Australia's architecture and just stuff like that. So a lot of the builds where it may say Australian house is normally part of my BBC file, and anything that's just normally based in Oasis Springs or San Sequenza is normally part of my BBC file. So I imagine that I don't know specifically where in Australia the Oasis Springs is, but I know I'm always thinking of Sydney when I'm doing San Sequenza, which is weird because I know San Sequenza is based off of San Francisco, but that's how my mind works. And I also use Tartosa because Tartosa has an accessible beach, and all the other beaches are too tropical. Like even Tartosa looks very much like not the vibe for Australia. Technically, it depends. I'm talking a lot of nonsense for someone who's never been to Australia. So if there's any Australians out there, please tell me I'm wrong and Tartosa probably does look like a bit like Australia, but in my head it really doesn't. In my head, Tartosa very much looks like Greek, Spain, Italian, Cyprus, and a tiny bit of southern England in terms of Brighton, but that's about it. I don't really see Australia in it, but you never know. Wait, actually, I think there's a specific place Tartosa was actually based off of that. I'm completely neglecting. Please excuse that. I don't know what it is though. But yeah, so I'm used Tartosa as well, part of my baby safe file for the beach element of it, which I will be using quite soon because I feel inspired of making a teenage hangout spot because I've been playing along with the teenagers in my save file because I neglected the previous ones and now they're all young adult and I'm like, oh no. Oh no, you're all older now and I haven't developed any of your personalities. You're all probably feeling quite lost. This is why a lot of teenagers probably feel lost because like there's someone who's playing Sims and feeling lost. Now I'm feeling a bit delirious. That's what I'm doing. But yeah, I wanted to use, I'm going to make a teenage hangout spot in Tartosa and I'm going to put it probably on the beach area. I've used that exact same lot to make the coastal townhouses, which were very Brighton inspired, but I'm going to use it as well to make the teenage hangout spot. That's probably going to have, no, that's not probably, that's definitely going to have CC in it just because I want to add a skate park and I also want to add surfboards because I just really want to imagine that they just go down to the beach after school and they just hang out, have fun before going home. And that's just such a vibe. You did not see within the cinematic intro or the high school build tour the bathrooms, but there are bathrooms that I have created. It's just the bathrooms are just so redundant, so I don't feel like an urge to show the bathrooms, and I may have forgotten. But let's pretend it was purposeful, me forgetting to show off the bathrooms. But yeah, to build, I keep saying, but yeah, I'm so sorry. It's been, as you can tell, it's been a second since I've done a voiceover because I'm doing all of the things I used to do at the beginning of my voiceover journey. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my voice is starting to feel a little bit tired after talking this much, just because I haven't talked this continuously in such a long time. I'm probably going to have to take a good long break for the next 24 hours after this. But it's okay. And I don't think I'm sitting right either. I should be sitting I should be sitting a bit more like sat up. But yeah, this is not going to be a fun adventure for me. Let's just fingers crossed my voice is going to be okay. Yeah, I'm doing the hangout, like studying area. Like this is where I imagine, well, not now, I'm adding the vending machines, but yeah, what you saw over there, it was this kind of area is where I imagine that they hang out on the second floor and there are vending machines everywhere just because it's 4 floors and I don't think I've ever done like an entire 4-floor school. Like I've done a 4-floor block normally within my high schools, but never like the entire thing is 4 floors. So I do not want the Sims at any moment to like die of starvation or anything like that. So there are vending machines quite literally everywhere, but like a school, there's also bins everywhere. So there really shouldn't be any reason for food waste within, not food waste, for rubbish to be anywhere within this build. Also, what else did I do? I did. Also, I did 2 points of entry. You can enter from the main area, which is like that faces the front of the school, but there's also the back area that faces like where the football pitch is. And I did that specifically because I just thought it would be easier to maneuver around. Like if your Sims are in one classroom, they don't need to all try and bunch up into the narrow hallway. They can go out in different rooms to go out into the classrooms. And I just thought it was just a cute little thing to add. There's no staircase on that side because I was like, that's just like a small area. And I don't want them to utilize that area that much. I want them to utilize the sunnier area. And the sunny area is the area that faces the front of the school. Speaking of the front of the school, I had no idea how I was going to do the debug. I didn't even know how I was going. I knew I wanted it to have like kind of fencing gates around it, but I had no idea how I was going to do that. That was pure, honestly, half a thing. Do you know how I always say, when you're building, trust the process? This was the epitome of trust the process. I only understood that I was going to do this block, and it was going to have like this kind of half wall height, and it was going to have these, what are they called? Those white stick things. I knew it was going to have that. Everything else was just going to be like, don't know how that's going to work. Don't know how that's going to work. So just hopefully I get inspired and make it work. And it did happen, surprisingly. Well, this is weird. Why am I almost finished? I'm pretty sure I still got quite, because I'm looking at it. I don't know how I'm almost finished, because I should have quite a bit left over to do. And then what else? So then here I'm doing, what am I doing? I'm doing a library here. And then this is how I utilize the, what did I utilize? I'm looking at it and I'm forgetting what I utilized. Guess how many times I can say utilize. I utilized it's not generations. Oh my gosh. What is it? What is it called? It is, you know what? I'm just going to call it generations just because I forgot what it's called. But I utilized those kinds of bookshelves. Like, why am I struggling to say the words? Again, you can tell I am borderline delirious. I utilize those bookshelves because I never ever use them when I'm building anything because they seem too much like the public space, which makes sense because there was a recreational center that came with a pack. So I don't only use them, but I did use them in this instance and they were so perfect. I don't know why. Right. And I'm going to say something. I always make this type of library. Every single time I do libraries when I'm creating high schools, I always do them 2 floors and I always do the upper area, like kind of backing over facing the bottom area. I will never get rid of it. It's such ages. I just love the vibe of it. But anyway, I digress. There's something that feels so nostalgic about this. Again, never entered Australia. I know you're not too few Australian high schools, but there's just something that feels so entirely nostalgic about this, and I don't get why. Like, I'm looking at it, and I'm thinking to myself, why do I pause a lot? Again, actually, now I've just realized I've been cutting through the video so much that I'm probably talking way ahead than I really should be doing, so that's not going to be a fun thing to find out later when it comes to editing. I was saying, I've never really entered Australia. Oh no, that wasn't I say. I was saying that I have been cutting through this entire video this entire time, so I do not know what is in it and what isn't in it, so this is going to be a fun thing to look back at after I finish this voiceover and be like, wow, I did that so annoyingly. I am so happy. I'm proud of myself for just putting more work for myself. It's one of the main reasons why I've said it before. When I love building, the editing stage, that's not necessarily the funnest stage, considering I'm also an editor. But yeah, now I'm, maybe not for you, but I'm currently looking at me doing the dance room and I imagined it as like some kind of theater ballet. I don't think this school has a specialization. I think it just does a bit of everything. I think it's just like, because I've been to schools for specializations. For example, my secondary school had a science specialization before it turned into academy. And then my 6th form, I don't think that had a specialization, but my university had a business and engineering specialization, though I went there to do media. But it all works out. In the end, she says, as she sits unemployed looking at her laptop, but it will work out in the end. Everything is at your own pace that I have to repeatedly tell myself, and I will tell anyone out there who's also feeling like they're in a bit of a rut. Everything will happen in its own place and in its own time. But now I should be doing the last part of the build, which is the teaching area, because I think there's a math in my room. I really do feel like there is a math in my room. I guessed it last night, saw it on my curtain, and I was just like, no, overthinking it. Truly not. Could not be. There is no way. I do think there is a moth in my room, and I think it's currently sitting on my lamp that sits at the bottom of my bed that overshines my room. This is not a fun thing to discover during this moment in time, but I will not scream. I'll be calm, even though I do not like the thought of there being a moth in my room, because that means something in my room is going to get eaten. But anyway, I digress. At least it's not as fried. Yeah, I'm doing I've never done like a teaching area, like where the teachers will come in and do this stuff, and I've never really been in one, so I hope this is correct. But yeah, this is how I imagine, because I didn't realize we had two different doors that came with high school years. I didn't realize we had a door for faculty and then just a normal average door. And you can see me change the door right there. And it's just like, I didn't realize that. So I was like, you know what, let's give the teachers a place to have some space. Even though they end up hanging around in the canteen anyways, even though I give them their own space. But yeah, I really, honestly, and the football pitch area is to play Australian football, which I've heard that they use. I've heard it's very different. It's not like soccer, but it's not, oh my God, it's just called football soccer. I've been Americanized. Anyway, that's the end of the video because I am scandalized. How could I say that? But yeah, all the details regarding this build will be in the description down below, including the tray files and where to place it. If you want to place it, you place it in the garden in Oasis Springs. And I'll see you guys in another video. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. But if you don't want to, that's also okay. I appreciate you staying this long and listening to all of my ramblings. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below. I read all of your comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.